Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the KNB Music Den. I am your friend Keith, and you, sir,
As always, I'm Brad.
as always, steady, reliable Brad. How are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Who you picking for the Super Bowl?
I gotta go Chiefs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have a bad. The Niners just left a bad taste in my mouth. I gotta go Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Something about the bright lights and the biggest moments. Mahomes just finds a way to do it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I would be hard pressed to bet against him at this point. So, and I think if Mahomes wins a third one and keeps going, we can start talking about possibly him as the GOAT instead of that damn Tom Brady.
True, but we don't have the Eagles in it right now. So right now, it's Flyers are in the playoffs right now. So
Exactly. Yes.
yeah,
Another big win last night. Yep.
it was.
Um, but we're not here to talk about Philadelphia sports or the Super Bowl, even though we just did. We're here to talk about R.E.M. We're on the Discnology train here, folks. We are doing our own version of a deep dive, very deep dive, on all the R.E.M. albums. We started with Murmur. We're plowing through. We just did Automatic, one of their career highlight albums for sure. And today we're going to talk about an album that can be a bit divisive among the R.E.M. hardcore fans, and that is Monster. And you'll notice that is a vinyl record, not a CD, my friend.
There you go.
Yeah. Pretty cool. It's got a cool insert. I'll show the folks quickly at home. Some nice pictures of the guys there. Of course, your credits and all that. So, yeah, man. Well, I may be playing my hand here a bit because I have it on vinyl, but yeah,
You're a
I
fan.
do. What's that?
You're a big fan of this one, apparently.
Yeah, it's very different. It's very unique in their catalog. I'm just gonna put this up here because I can't get it. But I don't want to bend it. So yeah, but this even the cover itself just signaled, this is not Automatic for the People Part Two. You
No,
know,
no, it's not.
this is loud, this is proud, this is brash, this is uh kind of sleazy.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, and what does it say about me that I really love this album? It's kind of sleazy, and a lot of the lyrics are about sex.
Hey.
So
Yep.
I don't know what that says about me, but that's a whole nother video.
Each is the
Uh,
big word. That's what it is, man. I mean, just
yeah, exactly. Um, but the band was consciously aiming when they started recording Monster to make an album that was pretty much the polar opposite of Automatic for the People. And boy, did they nail it.
yeah.
Uh, Now, do you know? It's kind of like a little quiz. I wouldn't expect you to know this, but there's only four choices, so I'll make a guess. Do you know which of the four members of the band had been pushing for an album, for them to make an album like this for years, and then they finally made it?
To me, I don't know the answer. So
Yeah,
I'm just basing this off of what musicians are in here and what they would like. And I wouldn't be shocked if it was Bill Berry.
you are absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That
absolutely
doesn't
correct.
surprise me.
Yeah, he had been pushing for this for a while, and he finally got his way. Geez, give the drummer some love, right? But um, now this album, I mean, if you listen to it, it's pretty clear that a lot of this is influenced by 70s glam rock.
hmm
Um, which you and I are big fans of, Bowie, T
Oh, yeah.
Rex, Mott the Hoople, I already said T Rex, said it twice. So, uh, and that's honestly, I think that's part of why I love this album. I love that sound, and
Yes.
they do it very well, but it's still REM. It's not like they're completely aping the sound or anything. It's just kind of puts me in mind of that genre. um, but as I touched upon earlier, there's a lot of different lyrical themes running around here. Obviously, with Automatic, you had the passage of time, mortality, were really at the forefront. Um, a lot of this album, like I said, jokingly or not, it's really true. A lot of the lyrics are based around sex, lust, but also fame, celebrity excesses, the seedy underbelly of the rock and roll lifestyle,
hmm
all of that. I mean, this honestly, like after I listened to this album, at a loud volume, like more often than not, I feel like I need to take a shower. You know what I mean? Like it's and again in a good way. But it's very, very raw
Yes.
and gritty, grimy. Yeah, and we'll get into all that as we do the songs. Now, like we said, Bill Berry was the one that pushed for this. But for me, generally speaking, the star of this album is Peter Buck. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
yeah, the guitar tones, and it's not that he does like tons of like lightning fast shredding solos,
No.
but it's just he sets the mood for almost every song with whatever effect
Well, when
he's
you
using.
think of that album, you think of
Yes,
guitars. I mean,
exactly.
so I mean that's I mean I totally see where you're coming from because that's the distortion overdrive album for me.
Yeah, yeah. And this was during the it wasn't right when grunge happened, but grunge was still very popular.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Um and as we'll get into with some of these song by song, Michael Stipe had built a close friendship with Kurt Cobain
Mhm.
before he passed. Um and yeah, it's kind of like, but it also doesn't come across as these older guys trying to do what's popular right now and just, trying to be the flavor of the month. It's just it was a natural thing for them to do after Automatic anyway in their career.
Had to, yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
couldn't, you don't want to remake that album twice. So you do got to
No.
you definitely got to step to the side and do something different.
Yeah, they knew when to do it. They knew how to do it, and yeah, there's a lot of great stuff to talk about here.
Yeah,
So let's just get right into it. The opening track, "What's the Frequency, Kenneth?" Who the hell is Kenneth, Brad?
I don't know. Now you're the guy who's been studying the song facts, so I've
Yeah,
kind of been laying low on this. Now the next time we do these discnologies, I'll take more of a role in it. But if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken, I don't know if this is just rumor or if this was just like, but I felt like this came from one of the news anchors getting their ass kicked, and while the guy was kicking his ass, saying, "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" Am I wrong?
You you are rather correct.
Okay, okay, that's always been in my head.
Yeah, it was Dan Rather.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and yes, these muggers, just I don't know if he was doing it a live spot. I don't know if I forgot to look up if there's actually any video on YouTube, like if this was captured on camera.
I don't believe there
um
was.
okay, because I mean, what a morbid thing for me to want to watch, but just because of the song. Yeah. But again, this is the genius of Michael Stipe
Mm-hmm.
taking this incident, and it's just this odd thing that no one really knows exactly what it is supposed to mean, except for the people that said it, obviously, I guess. But they were yelling, "What's that frequency, Kenneth?" As they were trying to beat him up, and the cameras there and everything. What an odd scene. Um, but you know, musically, these opening distorted power chords
Mm-hmm.
um, announce that, like I said, this is not Automatic Part Two, folks. Hang
Yeah.
hang on for a bumpy ride. Um, you know, and I got to say, it was fun for me because when I listen on my phone, um, you can hit the lyrics button on
Yeah.
Apple Music.
Yep.
Dude, I have been singing the wrong lyrics to not just this song in particular, but the majority of this album for my entire life. How eye-opening! I have had no clue what the hell this guy is saying, and I've been making up my own words.
Yeah.
So it was really a neat experience because sometimes it's like take some of the mystery and the mystique and the whatever away from it. But for this album, I kind of enjoyed, like, wow, these lyrics are so random and unique is a understatement.
Oh, it
Um,
is.
but in a way, do you know what this kind of reminded me of lyrically? Remember when Live put out their third album, Secret Samadhi?
Yes.
And it was just all these crazy, like these songs, like these weird lyrics, and like,
Mm-hmm.
but it all worked so well.
It did.
That's kind of reminds me of this album lyrically, where it's just like lots of weird stories and stuff that you're not sure if you're hearing what you're hearing or what you're even hearing.
Yeah.
But it almost seemed like it was more important to Stipe on this album, I'm guessing, of how the words sounded as opposed to exactly what they necessarily were or even meant. Does that make any sense?
Oh, I agree. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't. There was not the. I don't think he was trying to get across many poignant statements with this album as much as, like you said, it was the way it
Yeah.
sounded. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, an Automatic, you had Everybody Hurts, and this is more like
Yep.
everybody screws, to be honest with you. But but yeah, so I mean, as an opener though, we talk about this with REM, great openers that kind of draw you into the album, give you an idea in a lot of cases, what you're going to be getting, what ride you're in for.
But could you put this in any other spot on the album? I don't think you even could.
No,
I don't think so either.
no. I mean, you could argue you could start side B with it just because of how it opens, but that being said,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
this is
Yeah.
just the Screams opener.
Yeah. Yeah, because what else? I mean, if you did that, hypothetically start a side B with this, what would you start side A with? I mean, I don't really see what you could do.
I don't either.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could have really messed with people's heads and started this album with Tongue.
Oh my gosh, that would mess with people.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious, actually. No, but you're right. This is the perfect opener.
It is.
So is this an album highlight for you?
Sure. Yeah, this is definitely. There's not very many lowlights on this album. I'll be straightforward right from the get go. There's not many songs I don't like on this album. But yeah, if I had to pick my top 4, it's probably in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a testament to the song because we've heard it a billion times now.
Mm-hmm.
But God, it's so good. Even the video is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess we'll never know truly what the exact frequency is. But I'm just glad that Dan Rather is still with us after all these years.
He's doing just fine, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of scary scene there. So the next track is called Crush with Eyeliner. Am I showing that thing? And Buck's tremolo effect on the guitar drives this entire song, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's straightforward. It's raw. It's got very minimal overdubs, which is a big theme on this album. And some of the band members were interviewed about that. It's not got, I think Mike Mills said that oftentimes you feel like you're hearing 2 or 3 guitars, but it's just beefed up so much with effect and it's so loud that it's really one.
Yeah.
Which is a cool thing to pull off. Now, after just saying that, I will say halfway through the second verse of the song, there is a guitar overdub where he simply just rings through the first 3 chords of the progression and just lets it ring out, and then waits and then does it again in a different kind of tone, a different effect, and it's in your left ear if you're listening in headphones, and it's just these little touches.
Oh yeah.
That yeah, and of course they didn't do it in the first verse; they added it in the second verse, build the dynamics of the song. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool. It just kind of jumped out at me as a cool overdub. Now the music in the song they've said is a bit of a nod to the New York Dolls, and there's hints of Lou Reed and Bowie in here, of course.
Sure.
You may know this. Did you find out who sang background vocals on this track?
I didn't look it up, but I was going to mention that that's one of my highlights about this song is the background vocals.
Really?
I really enjoy that, yeah.
Well, you'll probably like it even more when you learn that Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth is singing those vocals.
No shit. Well, not only that surprises me, but yeah, I mean, I had no idea he had any connection with R.E.M. But yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about this song is the play off on the background vocals.
That's very interesting to me that jumped out to you, not even knowing that it was him. So that's very cool. Now, I also found out when I researched that Courtney Love claimed that this song was written about her. But according to Stipe, it was an inside joke that didn't translate well when the media grasped onto it. So it's not really about her. But of course, there was a time in her life she probably thought everything was about her. But
anyway, I was going to say, this ain't the first song I've heard her say that.
Yeah. Love loves herself some love, I guess.
He does, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a 1-2 punch to start the album. We're still in grime land, we're still in sleaze land. We've got now here's the first example of many on this album where these vocals are very affected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And not just the vocals, there's something about the whole song that just feels broken apart. I don't know, again, this is studio magic, I'm guessing, but very strange sounds on the song.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it is that tremolo effect on the guitar. I mean, this whole song is it's just like it's
Yeah.
like almost sounds like a sound wave, you know. And that's really, I don't know. This album is just so much fun to listen to. It's definitely a, crank it up at a high volume in your car kind of album, you know.
It is.
It's just really, man, it cooks.
It does.
um, so why don't you tell me your thoughts on the next song, King of Comedy, sir?
Yeah, I mean, this is a strange song to me. This is like you said, we got the first two songs were just kind of straightforward rocking. Like you said, there were some effects based on his guitaring with the tremolo. This song, I had trouble making out what was going on in general. Like the vocal pattern, the vocal delivery was very strange to me. The lyrical content was unique and odd.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's not many songs I didn't like, but this is one that I didn't love.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, now it was intentionally produced to sound very mechanical,
Yeah.
according to the band and the producer Scott Litt, once again, Scott at the helm. They wanted to sound like it was kind of made by computers. But the drums are actually Barry on the kit for this song, mostly.
Mhm.
Now the lyrics are cynical and they're tongue in cheek. It's basically Stipe poking fun at his own celebrity status and his image. And at the end, when he sings, "I'm not commodity," you know, but he was interviewed and he said, "But of course, I am a commodity. I know that, and I'm fine with
Yeah.
it." So, but yeah, just the packaging of stars, the image, the yeah, just like I said, very cynical, very direct. And another example of Stipe having a way of just cutting through the crap,
Yeah.
um, and saying things in a very unique way. Um, this song, I like this song. I like how it has in the music, it kind of has that doom, 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 doom. It's kind of like this underlying thing going on,
Yeah.
which gives it like I said, that mechanical feel. So it is definitely different from the first two. But I think sequencing wise, I think this was a great place for the song.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I sat down and looked at all these songs and ranked them, it probably wouldn't be at the tippy top. But we're off to a strong start with these three, in
We
my
are.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so let's move on to track 4 here. I Don't
Which
Sleep.
track four I think has one of the best song titles of any R.E.M.
Yes,
song. I love this title.
I don't sleep, I dream.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, this is a good one. Stipe said the song is basically a sonic version of the dream state.
Okay.
Um, Now, a surface observation of the lyrics reveal the song to be. I'm probably not going to have my mom watch this video. The song essentially is about a blowjob.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. No.
and now you can't unhear that.
Yeah,
Um,
that was there.
but Stipe said there is more to it than that. But I mean,
It's got to
I'd
be more than
settle.
that.
Come on, these lyrics. I'd settle for a cup of coffee, but you know what I really need. I mean, that's just
Okay.
wow.
Well, and you know what? That went right over my head. So,
Yeah. Head, you say? Uh, sorry, I couldn't pass it on.
I'll even, yeah.
But there's a great tribal drum beat that starts
Hmm.
this one out. It's a little more subdued. There's great little organ stabs in the chorus. Pick, 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 pick. Yeah, real
Yeah.
cool. And Stipe's underrated falsetto, which we will hear more about later in this album, is featured in the chorus of this
It
song.
is big time.
And I don't think he gets enough credit for his range as a vocalist. Um, you know, just to sustain that and have it be so on, and then to be able to perform songs like this live when you've been running around the stage for an hour and a half already, it's not easy. And he does it really well. I'd settle for a cup of coffee.
Hmm.
So it's like to get that with strength. I mean, way better
Yeah.
than I just. But yeah, just really cool. And
Yeah.
I generally speaking, I like artists, vocalists in particular, that can use that range and mix things up and have different feels to different songs. And he does it, a good amount on this album, more than a lot of other albums. But to have that in your bag of tricks, in your arsenal as a vocalist, I mean, just exponentially, ups the stakes of what you're able to put on wax.
Well, I think we've been seeing it throughout the whole journey on this that we're doing. That each album he seems to be getting more confident, or I don't know if Lit's getting more confident, but somebody's pushing more boundaries on each album. It seems like,
Yes.
and letting him more loose on vocal, the bass. Like you said, using the range, using different sounds, different deliveries. It just sounds more confident than if you go back and listen to the first albums.
Yeah, and that chorus, I'd settle for a cup of coffee, but you know what I really need. He could have sang it down in like his regular voice, but I can't even like hearing how it turned out. I can't even imagine it any other way.
Nope.
Pardon me, a little cough here. So we are on to Star 69.
There you go. This one's not sexual at all.
Well, 69. Yeah, I'm definitely not having my mom watch this one. But but yeah, I mean, from the phone service, do you remember Star 69?
I do.
Yeah. So you could call the person back that just called you, they hung up on you or whatever, and you're like, wait a minute, who just hung up on me?
No. Can you still call Star 69?
I don't know. I mean, I know some of the Star commands are still on home phone lines because my mom actually still has a home phone line. It's easier for her to hear.
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me if it still exists.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Because I know like for her voicemail, like star 99 for her voicemail and things like that. So it wouldn't surprise me. I should try it sometime on her phone. Now I'm curious. But yeah, for those of you, that are younger might not know, that was a feature on the home phone lines where you would press star 69 and it would call back the last person that called you if you wanted to find out who that was. And of course, if we weren't sure that that's part of at least what the song is about, he's singing in the chorus, I know you called. So it's pretty obvious. But this is a 3-minute blast of energy, real upbeat tempo. I think it fits really well after I Don't Sleep, I Dream with kind of that, dreamy approach. This song was actually initially about 6 minutes long.
But they got cut back quite a bit then.
But pretty much in half. Now, I would be fascinated to hear a demo of the original version and hear what they cut, just to hear from a songwriting standpoint. But there were at least 2 other sections that were very different, that were like maybe a bridge or a different whatever section that they realized just cut all that crap out. Simple 4-chord progression through most of the song. Like I said, a huge burst of energy here in the 5 slot. And I think it rocks. I really like the song a lot.
No, I agree. I mean, again, down to the like you said, the positioning of the track on the album. They always do great with this too, because again, I look and I would say, okay, if I had to reposition this, I couldn't put that anywhere else. It fits great after those 2 tracks.
Yeah.
And then you have the last, what we're going to get into, Strange Currencies, and I think it all just works out perfect.
Yeah, it does. It does. Strange Currencies. Wow. Dude, without a doubt, this is in my top 5 R.E.M. songs of all time.
I agree 100%. Same.
Great.
Same. And I was going to ask you, because again, the people who watch us know you're an actual musician. I'm just a fan of music.
Yeah.
I don't know what notes or how he's playing that guitar part, but there's something about it that is just so, I don't know, every time I hear it, I just get like fired up. And it's not a fired up song. It's just,
yeah.
But it's just the way it's being played, it sounds so epic. Like it's building up in this beautiful, and then Stipe's vocals with it. I mean, it's just so perfect. It's so perfect.
It is. I mean, well, I think part of what you're hearing, Brad, and picking up on is that arpeggio that he's picking.
Okay.
But not just the effect on the guitar, which he's masterful at in this song and the entire album, but this song in particular as well. I think, I'm guessing here.
Yeah.
I think why that grabs you so much is I think, a lot of people, guitarists as well, don't always pay enough attention to what their right hand is doing, assuming that they're not a lefty.
Okay.
Because your left hand is obviously putting the fingers on and making the
On the
frets press
notes.
down and
Yeah.
making the chords. As you know, you play a little bit of guitar, like you said.
Yeah.
But your right hand has so much control. Like when you hear a lead guitarist that just cuts through everything and makes that guitar fucking sing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of that is really the right hand. It's not the
Right.
left
Okay.
hand. Um,
Yeah,
so
because you're right. It's
yeah,
just like that build. It's just like, oh, what is that? What are those notes? I don't know what they are, but
yeah,
oh,
yeah. And yeah, it's now the band, see, I don't hear this as much, but the band was a little afraid about, they thought this song sounded a little too much like Everybody Hurts because of the picking notes. But I mean, I don't hear that. I mean, I hear it,
no.
but I
I
don't.
mean, when you tell me it, I can picture it. But
Yeah,
if you didn't tell me that, it would never cross my mind.
exactly. Well put.
Yeah.
That's exactly how
Yeah.
I feel. So, I mean,
Oh,
thank God they got over it because they were not going to put the song on the album because of that.
so is this to you as well the best song on this album?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
All right. Well, then
yeah,
we got that agreed on right from the get go.
absolutely. This
Yeah.
song is just pure magic.
It is.
Um, and some people, I think the band actually themselves, have compared this song to Every Breath You Take by the Police, in the sense that if you really listen to the lyrics, not just
Mm-hmm.
the "You Will Be Mine" and all the sweet love stuff that it seems to
There's
be,
some dark undertones.
very dark. I mean, this, to me, the sound essentially sounds like an obsessive stalker.
Well, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, the way he sings it, if you didn't know and you just paid attention to the "You Will Be Mine,"
Mm-hmm.
but and again, that's again the genius of Michael Stipe.
Yep.
But there's great overdubs in this. If you listen in the background of some of these weird noises and these little plinky plinks. And now Peter Buck actually uses an EBO on this song.
Oh, does he? See, I didn't know that.
So we're gonna be hearing more about the EBO on the next album, aren't we?
Oh, we are big time.
Yeah. But it creates those violin type sounds
Yeah.
with the guitar, not with a violin. But dude, the lyrics and the vocal performance by Michael Stipe on this song are among his best
Mm-hmm.
ever, ever.
Oh yeah.
What do you think it is about this song, man? What do you think it is about this song that stands out so much?
Well, to me, it's two things. Like, because the thing is, if you took the vocals completely out, just threw them away,
Yeah,
the melody and the music still has an effect on me. I can still, just by
yes,
the music, it has a certain feel. So just adding the vocals in is just adding the whipped cream to the cake, because the
yeah,
music by itself, just hearing it, I'm just like, man, what's going? This is fantastic. And then you're right. Like if you're not diving so deep in that you realize there's some darkness to it, it has a very pretty, like "You'll Be Mine" kind of thing to it. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, once you kind of dive in a little bit, listen, and realize it's kind of a dark, a little disturbing. The song is just very catchy, very, sugar.
Yeah, it's so perfect. And the chorus is so great, I think, because if you're paying attention, that verse is basically trading back and forth between two chords.
Yeah.
Real simple. And then when that chorus kicks in, it's brown, brown,
Oh,
brown, 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 brown,
yep.
brown, brown. It's like all these chords in a row, and it works perfectly.
That does.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on because we talk about this one all day.
So wait,
Um,
which side are we on here, Keith?
oh, did you figure that out for me? I didn't. Did they
This
name these now?
we just got. The side we just finished was side C,
Oh, that's right.
and we're going to side D.
You know what? It's right here on the vinyl. I remember that now. I forgot, and then I remembered. Yep, side C. We just finished. Am I
Yep.
showing that? Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
And now we're going to side D. Well, what
Yep.
happened to side A and side B?
Hey, look, this is R.E.M. You don't have to answer questions.
Well, true, and I wonder if that's a little playful nod to the compact disc format CD as well. Who knows?
I believe so, because that's probably when it was really starting to get popular, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they were already.
Were they?
CD was king in
Now
the
you
mid
got to keep in
'90s.
mind, I'm younger than you. This was my first R.E.M. album.
You're not that much younger than me. No, no, no,
Well,
no, no. No, you are. You
Enough
are.
that enough that if you take 5 years of music period, that's a lot of time.
That's true.
So for me, I was in sixth grade, and this is my first like REM album that I heard. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Brad, I'm a private guy. I don't want the people to know that I'm going to be 50 later this year. So,
Oh
uh,
man.
so we're flipping over to side D. Thanks for pointing that out to me.
Yep.
And excuse me. I think I need to get a little water here. Why don't you talk to the folks about this very interesting song called Tongue that starts side D? And I'll be back in 1 second. I'm just going to grab a little water here.
Sounds good. This is a very strange song, like you just said. I was actually waiting to see what he gathered on this one because the sound of it, musically, vocally, everything about it is to me, this is a very strange opening for side D. Who's this guy?
Hey, how we doing?
You're back. You're
Hey,
back.
everybody, welcome back to the KMV Music Den. Oh, sorry, we already did that part.
We did that part. No, I was just telling him I find this to be a strange opening for side D.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, this is interesting. And I was kind of forgetting that it opened side D when I was kind of joking about starting the whole album with it.
Yeah.
But it actually does work very well because you come off all these rocking songs and then you got Strange Currencies, which just like blows your head off.
Yeah.
And then this thing comes creeping in. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But here we are again talking about his falsetto, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez, this is a beautiful performance, a beautiful melody.
Yeah.
The song is kind of strange. But
Yeah.
he did reveal later. Initially, he was interviewed about the song, and he was kind of holding his cards close to his vest, so to speak. And then later on, he did come out and say, because of the lyrics and everything, I basically tried to sing this song as if I was a female.
Okay. Okay.
Which makes a lot more
Makes
sense
sense
now.
then. Makes sense
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. But again, he I'm just so in awe of this band as we continue this series because just to have that instinct to know, like, again, I can't hear this song any other way. As strange as it is, by the time
Yeah.
you're halfway through the song, it's like you're so engaged and you couldn't imagine it any other way. Whereas when it first starts, especially the first time you've ever heard it, you're kind of like, what's this?
Yeah, exactly.
But then
Yeah.
it just works. Everything they do, especially in this stretch of albums we're on right now in the middle of their career, to me, everything they do just works.
Works.
It's just astounding.
And this whole thing that we're doing is just making me angrier and angrier that they're not together. Because the more I'm thinking, I just go, come on, one more album. Like that's where my head is now. Is I just want one more album, one more tour. Give me that. I'll break the bank. I got to see these guys now.
Did you hear what happened within the past few days?
Oh, you're teasing me now. What's happening?
There was a Murmur, tribute to the album Murmur at a club. I think it was in Georgia. I could be wrong.
I've heard this.
But all four members of the band got up on stage. All four original members of the band were there together and got up on stage.
Oh,
that's shit. What I read online. I don't think they performed. I think they just kind of maybe took a bow for the album. I don't know. That's what I read. I hope this isn't fake news. I'm trusting what I read online.
I heard parts of that. I didn't hear that, but
hey, man, if they start talking again, I mean, if the Stones can tour at 80 and put out a great album like Hackney Diamonds,
yep, come on, I'm ready for it.
I have mixed feelings about it because it's just such a perfect discography now, but I think they're capable. I think they're capable of coming together and just blowing our heads again, blowing our minds.
Yeah. I agree.
Whew. So back to Tongue. Sorry, folks. But there's lots of strange lyrics on this album, and this song is no exception. And again, it just works. But let me quote you a little bit of Tongue here. I should toss that vanity license plate, toss that makeup painted face, box those poems, chocolate cake, scratch that name on the record player. Okay. Hey, man. whatever you want to say, brother. Yeah.
Exactly.
You've got my attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, when I listened through to this and focused more on the lyrics and what they actually are, as opposed to what I foolishly thought they were all these years, it just honestly cracked this album wide open for me um as a listener. It just
Yeah.
really, it all started to click more for me. And again, that mystery was there before, but now it's like, okay, I've lived with the mystery for a long time. Now to hear what he's actually singing and focus in on
Hmm.
it more, it's just like a Pandora's box for me with these lyrics. It's been so much fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, but you know, they did say that this was kind of their twisted take on basically soul music. You know, because it's got the organ that you know, so you know, it is kind of him doing that soul music from
Yeah.
the early days. So in their own very unique way. Um, so all right, we're gonna move on to Bang and Blame. This was a single, and
This
this
was a
is all.
single.
Yeah, this has always been one of my favorite songs on this album. What about you?
This is again. It took track 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, track 1 and 2 and this one all fit into that real glam rock 70s, and they all
Yes.
are done very well. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
this would probably be of those 3 tracks number one to me. I actually, if I heard, I would probably put this above "Was Frequency Kenneth" as far as this would be my second favorite track on the album. I would say.
Yeah. I I'm probably there with you actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always been a huge fan of this song.
Yep.
Uh Pretty cool music video too, actually.
Oh, it is.
Um excuse me. But you know, this album is full of them, but it's another one of those nasty kind of relationship songs, not
Uh-huh.
the lovey-dovey side of stuff. Um Stipe was actually quoted as saying that it's essentially, you know, thematically it is about domestic violence. Um
Essentially, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, this song, I mean, it's been too long since we've talked about our dear friend Mike Mills. How about the bass line on this song, dude?
Oh, I mean, Mike Mills is someone that I've no longer gotten surprised by. When I hear something amazing, I'm just like, yeah, it's Mike Mills. He
True,
caught
true.
me off guard the first 2 or 3 albums, and now I just, to me,
Yeah,
he is. I don't think Michael Stipe would be where Michael Stipe is without having a Mike Mills. Like Mike Mills was such a pivotal part of this whole group.
absolutely.
Yeah, nothing shocks me that he does.
Absolutely. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, he's that guy in the band where if you're in a band yourself and you go see another band play and you see that guy that picks up 10 different instruments and sings
Yep.
harmonies and leads, and he's the guy you hate, but you take him in a second in your band.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
like that Swiss Army knife. He fixes everything and do all the parts. He's
exactly.
yep.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the genius of Michael Stipe, and rightfully so. But yeah, Mills, I mean, they're all at such an elite level, but Mills is a special dude. You know, gosh, I mean, listen to the great guitar work and you know all the different choices that Peter Buck makes in this song. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
guitar driven album, guitar driven song. Um, the song, I mean, what a great chorus. I mean, like I said, it's no surprise to me that it was released as a single.
Oh yeah.
Just man, love to turn this song up and rock out to it. Um, did you notice the quirky little brief instrumental at the end of the song after the song ends?
The little interlude they have going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to
Yeah.
put something in there.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. They didn't give it its own track this time, you know, and a
Yeah.
name.
Didn't need to.
No, it was just a little, like, barely 30 seconds. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Bang and Blame is a album highlight for both of us. No surprise there. So now we go from Bang and Blame to I Took Your Name. What'd you think about this one, buddy?
Well, this one I was confused. Lyrically, I'm curious to see if you come up with if they gave you much information as to what this was. I like the song overall. I do
Yeah,
like the song,
yeah,
but this one was one of the more confusing ones for me as far as lyrically.
yeah. Well, like a lot of the songs on this album, Stipe is singing from the perspective of a character, not himself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As we've I'm sure picked up on by now with some of these lyrics. But you know, for this song, the character seems to be a bit psychotic and has
Is that what
stolen someone's and it stole someone's identity. I took your
Okay.
name. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and I'm not surprised to hear you say what you're saying because the vocals are very garbled on this song
They are.
purposefully. And you know, something that I found that was interesting for this particular song, and I just think it's just the way it happened in the studio that day, but Stipe recorded these vocals laying on his back on a couch.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there was a quote from one of the engineers that was in on the album and said, "I didn't know you could record vocals that way."
It's fascinating because you know who else did that?
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fascinating. Okay.
yeah. So, oh yeah, I wonder. I didn't make that connection. I wonder if Stipe knew that, and I wonder the timeline as far as because
Yeah.
well, we'll get to the Kurt Cobain stuff here on the next song, but I did want to. Well, it gets interesting that we're talking about this and the meaning and stuff because I did pull out a few lyrics here. On this song, I Took Your Name. He sings, "I crossed your great divide. I stirred your ocean's tide. I called your bluff until I blew your circuits wide."
Yeah. Strange.
Yeah, it just works. Just works, man.
It does work.
And the way that this band writes music, they write songs, for the most part, I don't know of any. I mean, maybe there's an example here or there of it being different, but the band just works up these jams and works up these music pieces, and Stipe just takes them on his Walkman and drives around and goes home or comes back. All right, boys, let's record it. I got it.
Yep.
And there was I don't think I wrote down this quote. Yeah, but there was one of the songs I was researching on this. Peter Buck was quoted as saying, what did he say? He never comes up with anything I dislike.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wow.
That's yeah. It doesn't surprise me though.
I mean, in baseball, if you're batting, 400, you're like a god, and
Doing
that's
well.
that's making contact 4 out of every 10 times
Mm-hmm.
you're up to bat. So if this guy's batting 1,000 with Buck, I mean, geez, let's
Yeah.
let's let's try to wrap our heads around that. So here we go, man. There's a big cloud hanging over this album. There's a big cloud hanging over this year, and that is the unfortunate death by suicide. If you
Mm-hmm.
believe that, I
Yep.
I do. Of Kurt Cobain.
So you're on the suicide side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What about you?
I don't know. It's a weird story. I spent the day at work where I was supposed to be working. And I
Yeah,
read a whole bunch. I read all the documents, and it's fascinating. It certainly makes you wonder.
yeah. I never dove too much into the details. But it does seem strange because you know, Stipe and Cobain did become close friends near the end of Cobain's
Yeah,
life, and they had actually been discussing at length a collaboration project that they were going to do. I don't know if it was going to be R.E.M. and Nirvana together or just Stipe and Cobain,
yeah.
but they had some actual plans for it.
Well,
Um,
before we even go into it, I can read you some
yeah,
stuff here that I find fascinating.
yeah,
So
please.
Rolling Stone talked to Kurt before Kurt died. It was 4 months before his death, and Kurt wrote, "I know we're going to put out one more record, at least one more record, and I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to sound like. Pretty ethereal, acoustic, like R.E.M's last album, Automatic for the People." That's fascinating right there.
Yeah,
He says, "If I could write just a couple of songs as good as what they've written, I don't know how that band does it, what they do. God, they're the greatest. They've dealt with their success like saints, and they keep delivering great music."
I did see that quote. Yeah, yeah.
Oof. Yep.
Man, could you imagine if we got that Nirvana album that was a la Automatic for the People
Oh
from
my God.
Nirvana?
What would that have been?
Oh, would have been unbelievable, I'm sure. And I'm
I
sure
know
Stipe
Peter
would have
Buck
had him.
has one of Kurt's guitars too.
Yes. Yep. Hey,
Yep.
hey, you're taking all my notes. That's good.
Oh, sorry.
No, no,
Didn't know you had that.
no, I appreciate it actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this song is, as I said, it was written for Kurt, about Kurt. And like you said, uh, Mike Mills actually plays the guitar on this song.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
It's not Peter Buck. And he is playing Kurt's guitar, like you said. So Bill Berry's just keeping a little bit of time here and there on a tambourine. There's no drums on this song. It is just a very distorted, verbed out guitar. And Stipe just, screaming along. Um, uh, Lyrics. He sings, "I had a mind to try and stop you. Let me in. And I've got tar on my feet, and I can't see all the birds look down and laugh at me, clumsy, crawling out of my skin." So this is Stipe is just despondent. He's just beside himself. Like, ah, I wish I could have helped you. I wish I could have said the right thing. I wish I would have known. All that. To live with that, I don't want to say guilt, because I hope he realizes, obviously it's not his fault. But to have built that close of a friendship with him right before his passing, and to feel like maybe you missed something, or maybe you could have done something that would have been something heroic, and you would have just played a hunch or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this song, as a song, it's very unique. And I like the fact that they kind of just, Kurt was Nirvana, man. Like, just, hey, grab a guitar, distort the fuck out of it, and let Michael sing. I mean, I think that was a great way to do a song for Kurt.
Let me catch back, because you got me confused here. You said Mike Mills played the guitar on this?
Yes.
Now, the guitar was given to Peter Buck, wasn't it?
What I saw is that Courtney Love gave the guitar to the band.
Oh, okay.
Gifted it to the band. So I don't. From what I read, it wasn't. I didn't see that it was necessarily to Buck. I think it was, if anyone, it was probably to Stipe, just because they were so close, Courtney and Michael. But yeah, the way I read it was gifted to the band.
Gotcha. Okay, that was fascinating. I was like, wow.
I'm hesitant to make these movements and do these air quotes because I'm afraid like confetti or balloons are gonna. Oh wait, the thumbs up, remember?
Oh yeah, thumbs up and the balloons. I don't know what the hell. Yeah.
That was awesome. What was that? Was that on our automatic for the people one?
I think so.
Yeah, go back and watch that, folks. So we've got 2 more tracks.
We do.
And these are the ones that I always, had trouble remembering which song it was just because of the title.
Okay.
And then when I started listening, oh yeah, of course I love this song, but just looking at it by the title, I'm like, oh, what is this again? But Circus Envy. So this is another crunchy rock song, man. It's got super heavy. Dude, the fuzzed out effect, super heavy fuzzed out effect on the bass guitar.
Yes.
On this song is so out of control, man. It sounds like someone plugged the bass in with a shitty cable.
It does, really.
They just recorded it anyway. So, fuck it, leave it.
Yeah.
I mean, to glorious results. I mean, it's obviously on purpose.
No, it was, because I kept thinking, like, can you plug a bass into a Big Muff? Because that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough.
It sounds like they plugged it into 10 of them and lined them up. I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, again, like we talked about the sleaze and the dirt and the grime all over this album. I love it.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. Now the lyrics at the end of the chorus. What band would have these lyrics in a chorus but R.E.M. and make it work? He sings, "Put pepper in my coffee. I forgot to bark on command."
Yeah, yeah.
And it works. Now, I will give you folks, and you, Brad, a quick example of how off I was on the lyrics this whole time of my life. I have no idea. I have no idea where I got this. But when he pauses right near the end of the chorus and then he goes, "on command," like that, for my whole life, for some reason, I thought he was singing Uncle Man. Uncle Man. Which actually makes sense. People say, "Oh, I say uncle," like, "Oh, stop." You ever get that phrase? Say uncle. Yeah. They're like, "Uncle Man." Yeah. But it's not what he sings. I'm so sorry. Now, again, Stipe's voice is very garbled and barely recognizable as being himself on this song, on purpose. This song is great energy, just messy. I really like this song a lot. What about you?
I do too. Yeah, this is the last 2. I was really happy with the way this ended.
Yeah,
because sometimes I get a little disappointed on the fizzle out of some bands and how they fizzle the last 2 songs. These 2 are great ending tracks to me. I know this is
Yeah.
kind of your sweet spots, that last song, so I'm curious. But for me, the last two have been fantastic.
Yeah. No, I think this album ends very strong, and you're leading us right into the final song, which is You.
Hmm.
Um, Now, another just obsessive love song that this one actually comes across more like a straight ahead lust song as opposed
Hmm.
to love.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, God, listen to these lyrics. I love you crazy, just keep on. I love you madly, just keep watch. You wipe my lips, you turn me on. My attentions are turned to you.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if that would make a woman melt or make her run for the hills and call
Yeah.
the police. I mean,
Depends
I
on the
don't
woman,
know.
I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it depends on what the guy looks like that's saying it, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
But, but yeah, and again, that taking love and
Yep.
lust and they're two different things. Sometimes they can be combined. And
Hmm.
just kind of turning it on its side and the way he phrases things, the way he pinpoints things. Um, and again, I never knew. I would sing along. I sing along to all these songs for past couple decades, right?
Sure.
I never knew he sang "You Wipe My Lips" in the chorus.
No.
I never knew that.
Nope. I
Yeah,
didn't either.
it's just, and again, I think for this album more than any other REM album, the sound of things, the way they sing, as opposed to what the words actually are, was more paramount in his writing. It seems like.
I 100% agree. A lot
Yeah,
of the last albums, I think the songs, the vocals, the lyrics, the meaning behind the songs kind of held center stage. Where this one, the aesthetics of it was definitely the music, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I agree. And it should be no surprise to us, Brad. How does this album end? With a bunch of feedback.
Yep. And as it should, it definitely
As it
should.
should, yeah.
Yep.
So hey man, we did the deep dive song by song. We're up to Monster now. So
Now, one last thing I got to say about this album.
please, yeah.
This might be one of the most balanced A versus B sides that I've come across.
Yes.
If you could only listen to one side ever again, you had to throw the other side out. Which one would you keep and which, if you had to, if your gun was against your head, they said you get to keep
Oh,
one of these sides and the other side you have to get rid of.
please don't
I,
do this.
I would have to go with A just because of strange currencies.
Yeah.
But man, you're losing
Man.
Fang and Blamed. You're losing Let Me In. You. I mean, there's
Oh.
that's such a tough.
I I I protest this question.
It's just usually there's
God.
one or the other seems to really kind of.
Yeah.
This was balanced pretty well.
I mean, yeah, gun to my head, I'd have to take side C,
Yeah.
which is side one. But geez, that is a close call.
Yeah.
Gosh. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I not really happy with you right now, Brad, for making me do that.
I just we've been
No,
doing
I'm
this for a
kidding.
while, and it's rare you get
Yeah.
such a balanced A versus B. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if that's Scott Litt. I don't know if it's the band who goes in there and really messes with the track, but they don't. One thing R.E.M doesn't do that a lot of bands do seem to do is stack the hits up front
Yeah.
and then put a bunch of skippable and then like one or two nice closers. You know, that seems to be like a thing that bands
Yeah.
do. They do not. Their albums are really the artistic part of it is they seem to think the track listing through in a very it's smooth. It rides smooth throughout the whole album.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think Automatic for the People is a pretty balanced side A, side B?
Ooh, without having it in front of me, I can't remember offhand, but I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
I would say it was though. It was pretty. So far, REM has been very good at balancing their sides A's and B's. So
Yes.
I wouldn't
Yes.
be surprised. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. This one in particular. But I think Automatic as well, and I think maybe, you're touching upon something incidentally, maybe. You remember how I said they're kind of on this stretch of several albums right now where it's just like they can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what you're saying too, that it's like it's so balanced and it's not just a strong side A or strong side B, it's just
Yep.
strong throughout. This is because they're on this run, man.
Yeah, I would agree. Because I mean,
Yeah.
some bands, I mean, they would have put what's the frequency, Kenneth? Crush with Eyeliner, Bang and Blame, Strange Currency. They would have set that up as one big power punch in the front. And
Yeah,
it would be people would be like, wow, that first 5 songs is just killer.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they were smart to spread it out the way they did.
Yeah, and it just works. I mean,
Mhm.
when you sequence an album like this, I hesitate to say back when albums mattered because they still do to a lot of people, and a lot of newer bands realize that they're making art. Um, but the sequence is so important because it takes you on that journey.
Yeah,
And like you said, you don't want to front load, and it's not even necessarily, well, obviously it's REM, so we're not talking good songs versus bad songs, obviously.
right.
But we're just talking about, what makes sense. Like for example, opening side D, side two,
With Pun,
with
yeah,
Tom. I mean,
the
that's
hell,
and then Bang and Blame.
yep. And it kind of makes
Because
sense
a lot
because
of
they
bands
could
would,
have reversed it, but I think they did good with Ton first.
I think your average band, and even some of your above average bands, would have put Bang and Blame as the first song on the second side, and then Tongue.
I think you would have gotten if
But
you gave out 100 choices to 100 bands, 90 of them would have done that.
yes, yeah. And again, that's what I keep coming back to. They everything they touched, every decision they
Yeah,
made was just, it was right.
it was.
It was right. What a gosh, what an absolute treasure to have this discography, man. I mean, it's
It
just
is.
ah man, I keep coming back to this as we're doing this. I mean, they may be my favorite band of all time.
It's hard not to be. I mean, they're definitely when you because you're like me, you go through these phases where like
Yeah.
you would listen to this band for a month and then you listen to this band for a month. So it's hard to have a favorite because it just bounces around so much and
Yeah, true.
sessions. But this is a band that's always going to be just kicking around that top 10 for me, no matter where they're at. Like they're just
Yeah.
this is one of those desert bands where if you can bring 10 bands with you, this is going to be one of the bands.
Yeah. I mean, and I know you're massive Oasis fan. I know you're a massive Rolling Stones fan, as am I. Beatles are always going to be in the discussion.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Radiohead are up there for me. I mean,
Yep.
but geez, yeah, I can't imagine a conversation about my favorite bands of all time and not mentioning REM. The conversation would not never go that way.
No, I agree. And I think REM is one of those bands that's almost universal. Like, I think if you took all the bands out, REM can really kind of older generation, younger generation, like rock, like they just seem to have, they hit so many. I mean, if you look at the albums, even, they're not making the same album over and over and over again. These albums are so varied and so different and so unique. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's it's hard not to put them at number one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm excited because we both know what's coming next.
We do.
New Adventures in Hi-Fi, folks. I've seen rankings that put this at number one. I've seen rankings that put this dead last.
Oh my God. How? That's all I
How
get.
can it be
How?
dead last? I mean, that's
Oh,
we'll talk about that when we do. Man, you want to talk about a discnology deep dive? We're gonna have a lot to chew on with it, Hi-Fi, because there's so many freaking songs, but also just spoiler alert. I mean, Brad and I are massive fans of that album. Massive.
yeah, we're unapologetic. I mean, at this point, I would say I can't say it's not. It's definitely my number one. I mean, unless something changes going through these deep dives, that album to me is just like I said. We've gone through and we did our rankings, and we both put that at number one when we did.
And
I don't see that changing.
well, no, I don't either. And it's crazy to me how you know dismissed that album is by a lot of REM fans.
I don't understand it. I definitely don't understand it.
Oh, that's that weird album they made after Monster, where it's got all these different kind of songs, and like I think they recorded like a lot of it on the road. Like, I don't know, whatever. I don't remember any songs from that. Like, oh my god, are you kidding me? But hey, we'll save that for
Yeah,
the video. So,
we will.
folks, Discnology, we are here with Monster. New Adventures in Hi-Fi is up next. Please comment. Please listen along with us. Listen more than once. Really dive into these with us. It's a lot of fun. REM deserves it. So for, as always, Brad, this is Keith from the K&B Music Den. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for following along with this series of Discnology. Put what you want about Monster in the comments. Again, we are still not 100% decided on who our next Discnology artist will be after we hit Collapse into Now. We have a couple front runners here, but hey, put it in the comments. We will try our best to accommodate. So it's a big decision. You're making a big commitment when you choose a band for the series. So,
you weren't kidding, yeah.
so but geez, who's gonna follow R.E.M? Good luck.
Yeah.
But there are some great ones. So thanks again for watching, folks. We will see you real soon. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, Brad. And New Adventures is up
Absolutely.
next.
Yep.
Looking forward to it. All right, guys. Take care.